All right, everybody, I'd like to begin. I'm the hearing officer, John Ziegler. This is being recorded. Can we have somebody maybe get the doors in the back? Thank you. We're here today regarding two different properties. We have one at 2500 Lopez Lane and then one at 2584 Lopez Lane. I'll give sort of a introduction that applies to both of them, and then we'll deal with each one separately. A notice of hearing was sent out to each of these properties from my office on April 9th. For the one at 2500 Lopez, we sent in a second one to fix a typo on April 22nd. Along with those letters to both of the properties, we sent a copy of the rules that apply to this hearing. It's my understanding on April 9th, a public notice was posted in the legal section of the New Mexican. This hearing is being held pursuant to Ordinance 2023-04 and Resolutions 2024-18 and 156. The issue today that applies to both of these properties is whether there is a violation of the nuisance ordinance. The county has the burden to prove a violation of the ordinance by a preponderance of evidence. Resolution 156 has the rules for the hearing, which I'll summarize. And again, we'll do each property separately, but the same rules apply. So this is an informal hearing. The rules of discovery and evidence that normally apply to court hearings don't apply. Irrelevant and immaterial and like evidence may be excluded by me. I give the appropriate weight to all relevant and material evidence. The parties can each present a 20-minute opening statement. The county will go first, and then the owner or occupant can do an opening if they so desire. They don't have to. The county then presents its case. The county will call witnesses if it desires, and then the owner of the particular property can cross-examine any witnesses called by the county. Once the county is done with their case, then the owner or occupant can present their case and call witnesses, and it proceeds in the same manner. The county can cross-examine any witnesses. The parties then have the opportunity to do a short 20-minute at most closing. All individuals who are testifying will be under oath, and then I have 3 days to issue a decision. And so let me just, as housekeeping, do we have anybody here related to 2500 Lopez? Do we have an owner related to that property? Okay. And then do we have somebody here related to 2584 Lopez? You're here for both properties? Okay. Why don't we proceed with 2500 Lopez first, and so I will open it to the county to see if they want to do an opening. And let me ask, are you going to call any other witnesses other than perhaps yourself?
Hearing Officer Ziegler, no, I will not be calling any witnesses today.
Okay, you're going to be the one presenting evidence and testifying?
Yes, I will be presenting
Okay.
evidence and testimony.
What I'll do then to make this easier is I'll have you sworn in, and then we'll do the same thing when the owner speaks.
I do, yes. Joseph Martinez, 240 Grant Avenue.
Okay, go ahead.
Hearing Officer Ziegler, just for clarification.
I'm sorry, real quick, just to be clear, just do 2500 Lopez now, and then we'll go through that process, and once we're done, we'll do the next property.
Okay, yeah, and that's what I was gonna ask. We're gonna do 2,500 first.
Yes.
So, good afternoon, hearing officer Ziegler. Of course, my name is Joe Martinez. I will be representing Santa Fe County in the matter of the case of 8222, which pertains to the alleged nuisance condition located at 2,500 Lopez Lane. This hearing has been scheduled in accordance with local ordinances and governing nuisance abatement. The purpose of today's proceedings is to review the findings of our investigation and determine whether the subject property constitutes a public nuisance. Following the complaint received, our department conducted a site visit, and we will be presenting the evidence that was discovered and obtained during those site visits. And that's all I have for the opening comments.
Okay. Ma'am, you have the opportunity to make an opening. That's your chance just to say what the evidence will show. You don't have to. Later on, you can testify if you want. So I'll leave that up to you. And if you're going to speak, come up to the microphone, please. Yeah, hang on. Do you want to make an opening, or do you want to wait until later to present any evidence you want to present?
So later on that this is over?
No, during this process. Right now, do you have an opening, which is where you can say what the evidence will present, what evidence you're going to submit and why you think you should win?
Well, I wasn't ready for all this, but I'm just trying to see about getting the stuff done, what I need, the proper stuff, what I need to get done.
Okay, so why don't we have the county present what they're going to present, and then you can come back and you can address any of that. Does that make
Okay.
sense to you?
So hearing officer Ziegler, the issue at hand is the property at 2,500 Lopez Lane, owned by Maria Magallanes, and it is currently in violation of the 2023-04 nuisance abatement ordinance for abandoned or inoperable vehicles, criminal activity, general nuisances, abandoned recreational vehicles and other equipment, open storage, and substandard building conditions related to the primary dwelling addressed as 2,500 Lopez Lane. This case originates from a complaint received by Santa Fe County Code Enforcement on March 7th, 2023. The Agua Fria Village Association, through William Henry Mee, submitted a formal letter of complaint regarding the condition of the property located at 2,500 Lopez Lane. Following the receipt of the complaint, Code Enforcement opened an investigation. Initial records identified Carolyn Flores as the property owner. However, ownership of the property became disputed when Maria Magallanes challenged the title. This dispute was subsequently resolved through district court proceedings, which determined that Maria Magallanes is the rightful owner of the property. Despite the ongoing ownership dispute, at the time, the investigation proceeded and ultimately confirmed the presence of violations under the 2023-04 nuisance abatement ordinance. So what were these violations? Well, the applicable ordinance violations start in Section 3, nuisance defined and prohibited. In Section B1, under Section 3, abandoned or inoperable motor vehicles, it defines those as a motor vehicle which will be considered inoperable if it cannot safely be operated or it is incapable of being moved under its own power, or if it may be legally operated due to a lack of any legal requirement, including but not limited to a current license tag. B3, for criminal activity, the property has been the subject of repeated law enforcement responses and is associated with nuisance behaviors, including but not limited to suspected trespassing and public safety concerns following an eviction. General nuisances. the accumulation, collection, dumping, or stockpiling of any garbage, trash, litter, debris, rubbish, tires, appliances, junk, or other material. Mechanical equipment, trailers, construction equipment, mobile homes, and recreation vehicles. The presence of abandoned or inoperable mechanical equipment, trailers, construction equipment, mobile homes, or other commercial recreational vehicles or equipment, or the parking, keeping, or storing of any inoperative or unlicensed trailers, recreational vehicle, or motorhome which is in a state of disassembly, disrepair, stripping, or dismantling. And B11, open storage, the presence of garbage, trash, litter, debris, rubbish, or junk which has fallen or spilled out of storage or collection containers meant for the same, or the failure to visually screen a collection area for outdoor garbage or trash storage by a solid wall or fencing to the extent required by county ordinance. Excuse me. Section 4, substandard building conditions which constitute a nuisance. Section A, any building or portion thereof, including any dwelling unit, guest room, or suite of room, and the real property on which the same is located, in which there exists any of the following listed conditions to an extent and degree that endangers the life, limb, health, property, safety, or welfare of the public or the occupants thereof, shall be deemed and declared to constitute a nuisance under this ordinance. A1, lack of or not properly operative water closet, lavatory, bathtub, or shower in a dwelling unit. A3, lack of or not properly operative kitchen sink. A5, lack of hot and cold water to plumbing fixtures in a dwelling unit. A6, lack of adequate heating facilities. A9, general dilapidation or inadequate maintenance. Section B, in addition to the conditions deemed to constitute a nuisance in other sections of this ordinance, any building, including a structure, shall be deemed and declared to constitute a nuisance under this ordinance if any of the following conditions exist. B1, the building has broken windows or doors constituting hazardous conditions and inviting trespassers or malicious mischief. B2, the building is boarded up, partially destroyed, not properly secured, or partially constructed, or incomplete after a building permit authorizing its construction has expired. B3, the building is not maintained to the extent that it is dilapidated or decrepit so as to cause substantial diminution in the enjoyment and use of adjacent or nearby properties. B4, the building is uninhabited and in an unsecured state so as to invite trespassers, criminals, or other unauthorized to enter for the purpose of committing a nuisance or unlawful act, or the building constitutes an attractive nuisance for children. Or B5, the building has been vacant for a period of at least 6 months and utility connections which enable the provisions of electricity, heat, water, and wastewater removal have been disconnected for at least 6 months, and one or more of the conditions listed in paragraphs A and B of this section also exist. So the case history here, following receipt of the complaint, Santa Fe County Code Enforcement conducted a site visit on March 1st, 2023. During that visit, officers issued a notice of violations for conditions observed on the property. On March 23rd, 2023, code enforcement officers returned to the site accompanied by Martin Romero, Bureau Chief for the General Construction Division of the Construction Industries Division. Chief Romero conducted an inspection and submitted a formal letter with his findings. In his report, he concluded that the structure met the criteria for an unsafe structure as defined under the New Mexico Administrative Code, or NMAC, Section 14.5.1.12. Based on those findings, on April 11th, 2023, Santa Fe County Code Enforcement filed a criminal complaint in magistrate court against Carolyn Flores, who was believed at the time to be the property owner. That case was later dismissed after it was determined that ownership of the property had legally transferred to Maria Magallanes. On December 12th, 2024, Code Enforcement accompanied the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office in serving an eviction notice at 2584 Lopez Lane, where Carolyn Flores and other individuals had been residing. At that time, possession of the property was returned to Maria Magallanes. Code Enforcement documented the outstanding violations and issued a written order to Ms. Magallanes directing her to proceed with cleanup and to secure the property at 2500 Lopez Lane. Since January 2025, Santa Fe County Code Enforcement has remained in contact with Mrs. Magallanes regarding the status of the property. She has expressed her intent to sell the property with the condition that the prospective buyers will be made aware that they will be responsible for completing the cleanup and securing of the property. This will be carried out according to a timeline coordinated with Santa Fe County Code Enforcement. So the conclusion at this time is that the property at 2500 Lopez Lane, including the residential dwelling, remains in a deteriorated and substandard condition. The site currently exhibits multiple violations which have been detailed and that we'll present today. These include general nuisances such as the accumulation of trash and debris, as well as the open storage of various materials. Additionally, the dwelling unit remains unsecured and has shown continued sign of unauthorized entry. This ongoing lack of security has created an environment conducive to criminal activity within the structure. So today, Santa Fe County Code Enforcement is requesting that the nuisance hearing officer uphold the county's findings and move forward with the appropriate enforcement actions to bring this property into compliance by recommending a resolution by the public nuisance hearing officer to be presented to the Board of County Commissioners to enact the clean and lien provisions as outlined in the 2023-04 Nuisance Abatement Ordinance, Section 10C5. Santa Fe County Code Enforcement recommends that the clean and lien provisions outlined in Section 10C5 of the 2023-04 Nuisance Abatement Ordinance be enforced. Specifically, we recommend that the structure be removed from the property and that the premise be cleaned and maintained to acceptable standards. Furthermore, the property should continue to be maintained until such time as Santa Fe County is able to recover all funds expended in achieving compliance. So at this time, we'll go ahead and go over the exhibits, which is the documentation and photographic evidence collected throughout the investigation, as well as any additional supporting evidence or material that are relevant to the case.
Okay, hang on a minute. You've given me a packet. It has memorandum and some of what you read, and then there's these exhibits you're referring to. Do you have a copy for the owner?
This should be displayed on the screen, correct? For them to view?
Hearing officer, we do not have a packet handily readily for them. We can display this up on the screen if need be.
Okay. I think they need a copy today and in the future. I can give them my copy if they'd like a hard copy, and I have an electronic copy. Okay. I think we can, I have it electronically here.
Mhm.
Ma'am, are you able to see what they bring up, I guess up here? Are you able to see that okay? Well, I don't think they brought up a document yet, but are you able to see what's up there now? Why don't you go ahead and proceed?
Okay.
And somebody can bring up, as you refer to the exhibits on this screen.
Okay. So first, we're going to present Exhibit A, which is the original complaint for 2500 Lopez Lane. It's a letter from Agua Fria Village Association. This letter was directed to the district attorney at the time.
Hang on a minute. Can we bring up this Exhibit A? You guys working out some technical issues on pulling them up?
Hearing officer, the exhibit is displayed right now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
So in this letter, basically, the author, Mr. William H. Mee, goes on to present a series of issues that are relating to the property, mainly criminal activities, but there was also some other issues that were related to the business at the time. But all of that was against what was thought to be the property owner at the time. However, in this started the investigation into the nuisances that we're discussing here today. Second piece of evidence is going to be Exhibit B. This is going to be the current representative deed that shows that Maria Magallanes is the property owner. This is on file with the Santa Fe County Clerk's Office. And then also on Exhibit B, on page 2, we've got the order affirming plaintiff's petition for writ of restitution, number 2. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so on page 2 of Exhibit B, we've got Part 2, which is the plaintiff in this case is the owner of the property located at 2500 Lopez Lane, A through B, Santa Fe, New Mexico, 87507, and is entitled to repossess the premises. So specifically on page 6, we've got the writ of restitution, which orders the respondent in the case, Carolyn Flores, and any other persons on the premises to be removed.
I'm sorry, which exhibit are we on?
This is Exhibit B, page 6.
Page 6. Okay, thank you.
Exhibit C is going to be the notice of violation letter that was given to the property owner, Maria Magallanes, dated December 12th. In this, she was notified of the issues with each section with a brief explanation as to what the issue was, and that she was to begin addressing these violations within 10 days. Exhibit D is going to be the letter of the unsafe structure that Santa Fe County Code Enforcement received from Martin Romero, the Chief Building Official for the General Construction Bureau of Construction Industries Division. In this letter, he states that the structure, this home cannot function in its current condition due to utilities not being connected and some of the devices missing, such as water heater and furnace. This would be a violation of the 2015, which was the current adopted code at the time, IRC section R306 sanitation requirements. Exhibit E is going to be calls for service. This is all calls for service that were received by Santa Fe County for the dates of January 16th through June of 2020. In this, calls for service provides the evidence in regards to criminal activity. Not only are there issues related to investigations, warrants, suspicious persons, but there, it's going to be on page 1. It's going to be the call number is 171-650-699. There was an unattended death of the property. On page 2, there was the call identified as 173-260-417 for domestic disturbance. And then the very following one is going to be call number 173-310-174 for narcotics violation. On page 3, we've got again call number 173-560-807, domestic disturbance. And then again, we've got 173-620-592 on page 3 for disorderly conduct. Page 3 has other disorderly conducts and domestic disturbances. The same thing is going to be true on page 4. Call number 182, specifically want to call out call 182-130-067 for suspicious vehicle, and for call number 182-250-361, suspicious person. Next is going to be Exhibit F, which is going to be calls for service for 2500 Lopez Lane from the dates of June 2020 to current. And what's interesting here on this exhibit, Exhibit F, is going to be the closed patrol calls. So in doing some research on that, closed patrol refers to a type of patrol activity where officers conduct frequent high visibility checks in a specific area, often where a focus on particular location or a problem spot. So there's 7 pages of calls on Exhibit F. All of them have numerous closed patrol calls. Want to specifically draw your attention to page 2 of 7, where there, on September 28th of 2024, there was a call for suspicious person or activity. And then again on 9/20/2024, there was suspicious person or activity. 9/15, again, a call for service, suspicious person or activity. On page 3, on 7/29/2024, we've got recovered stolen vehicle. And on 6/4/2024, we've got weapons or explosion at the property. On page 4, we've got the call number is going to be 232-23667. On December 17th of 2023, we've got a narcotics violation. On page 5, call number 231-81513. There's going to be on October 6th, burglary in progress. On page 6, I want to draw your attention to call 211-64279, dated October 7th, 2021, for larceny. And then on call number 210-06885 on page 6, for January 15th, 2021, we have overdose or poisoning was the call. Next, we're going to review Exhibit G. Exhibit G is just a protocol exhibit proving that Santa Fe County met the requirements for the public hearing for the administrative enforcement. So this was the legal notice that was sent, and then on page 2, we've got recognition by Santa Fe County, and then page 3 is the listing. Our next exhibit is Exhibit H. Of course, page 1, the first picture is the evidence that we're at 2500 Lopez Lane, which is the primary dwelling on the north side of the property. But want to draw your attention to page 2 of the Exhibit H, which is the photos, site photos of the. So this is typical throughout. This is the structure in disrepair. The roof has become decrepit, and trash has been stored on the property. Would get you to page 15, which is going to be an interior photo showing inadequate heating and the condition of the interior. I want to draw your attention to page 21, showing that the utilities have been disconnected as there is no meter on the electrical service to the dwelling.
The dates on these pictures are the dates they were taken, is that right?
That's correct. I draw your attention to page 27. Again, another typical photo of the site, the accumulation in trash and debris.
Did your office take these pictures?
I was actually the one who took these photos. Yeah. I want to draw your attention specifically to page 30. During the eviction, we were allowed access by Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department to the dwelling. And as we approached, we saw evidence of drug use. So what you're seeing in this photo is the aluminum foil that's used, along with needles. Page 31, the photo again identifies where an unauthorized individual was staying at the dwelling with needles and additional evidence of drug use. Draw your attention to page 34, where we've got inoperable vehicles, including a boat, recreational vehicle. Page 37, we've got evidence of tires being stored, material being stored. Page 42, we have the trash and debris litter with the inoperable RV and the boat. And then page 45 shows the RV. Exhibit I is going to be the copy of the 2023-04 nuisance abatement ordinance.
Let me ask you, are you done with the pictures?
I'm done with the pictures, yes.
Okay, are there any more recent photos?
The last part of the, hearing officer Ziegler, the last part of the investigation concluded on the dates of the February 25th, yes.
Okay, has an inspection been done more recently?
So code enforcement just made a visual observation, but did not document anything from the property.
Okay. Do you know what that visual observation, was it in the same condition more recently?
So hearing officer Ziegler, I was the one who performed the observation when I posted the notice of public hearing, and the condition of the property was still the same.
Okay, go ahead.
So the next exhibit was going to be Exhibit I, nuisance abatement ordinance, in which gives us the authority to be able to enforce this. And lastly is going to be Exhibit J, which is going to be evidence of the notice of written order that was delivered to the property owner, Maria Magallanes. So hearing officer Ziegler, at this time, this concludes our presentation of the evidence that was collected during the investigation. So if you have no further questions, we'll.
I have no questions. Ma'am, would you mind coming up to the microphone, please? Do you have any questions for him?
No,
Okay. Does that conclude your case? Okay. Hey, ma'am, I'd like to put you under oath, and then if you want to say something, you can say it.
yes. Maria G. Magallanes. I really can't really say my address, 'cause it's private. It would be the 2500 Lopez Lane, Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Ma'am, would you just try and speak in the microphone? And so I know you're probably not familiar with this process. So they have presented their case on why they think there's a nuisance on this property. And now is your opportunity, if you want, to testify, present evidence why there's not a nuisance, or whatever you want to present, that this is your opportunity. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So go ahead.
I'm in process of doing some cleaning on the property, and we would want the mobile home removed from the property.
Okay, I was having a hard time hearing you. Did you say you're in the process of cleaning the property?
Yes,
And then you said something about the mobile home?
yes, I would like to get that removed. Or if she's gonna just, there was a person that was interested in buying the mobile home, but I don't know if she wants to sell it or what, so it can get removed.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, that's what I'm worried about, is I just want the mobile home removed.
You have anything else to say?
No.
I have a question. Is the condition of the property, you saw those pictures, is it still in about the same condition?
Well, we did some cleaning, but we're trying to do some more cleaning. We're in process of doing more.
Okay.
But it's just so much stuff that's left behind that they did, and like, yeah. But we're doing our best to do it.
Okay. You have anything else to say?
That is it.
Mr. Martinez, did you have any questions? Ma'am? You stay up. Sorry. we only have-
Hearing officer Ziegler, I don't have any questions for Ms. Magallanes at this time.
Okay, ma'am, you can take a seat. Thanks. Yeah, well, ma'am, let me ask you this. Do you have any witnesses or anybody you're calling today, or is it just what you had to say?
No.
Okay. All right, so I think that completes, well, do you want to, do you have a closing to make, or are you going to rely on what you've presented?
Yeah, Hearing Officer Ziegler, we don't have a closing comments at this time, so we've concluded our case, and so we just move that, if, that the hearing officer review the evidence and make a determination.
Okay. And ma'am, I'm assuming you don't, do you want to make a closing, or do you have anything else to add? No? Okay. So we'll go ahead and close the hearing on, was 2500 Lopez, and move to the next one. Yes. Thanks. So the next one on the agenda relates to 2584 Lopez Lane. And I've already given some background on how this will proceed. Mr. Martinez, do you have an opening that you'd like to make? And what I'm going to say is you've already been sworn in at the prior one. I want you to understand that I'm going to consider you to still be sworn in, even though we're moving to the next property. You understand?
Hearing Officer Ziegler, yes, I understand. I'm still under oath. So again, good afternoon. My name is Joe Martinez. I am representing Santa Fe County in the matter of the case of number 258034, which pertains to the alleged nuisance of the substandard conditions located at 2584 Lopez Lane. This hearing, again, has been scheduled in accordance with local ordinances governing the nuisance abatement. So following a complaint that we received, Santa Fe County Code Enforcement conducted a site visit and documented the conditions that raised significant concerns related to the criminal activity and the substandard conditions of the personal property located at 2584 Lopez Lane.
Ma'am, and I understand, are you the owner of this property as well? Okay. Do you have any opening statement you'd like to make, or would you like to wait until, like you did last time? You go ahead and wait.
So in this case, Maria Magallanes is actually the complainant, as that will set forth in the evidence. The individual who is the owner of the personal property at 2584 is Carolyn Flores.
Okay, I see that now. Is Carolyn Flores here? Ma'am, would you mind coming up? Were you here when I explained the process for this?
Yes.
Okay. Let me go ahead and place you under oath now.
Yes. Carolyn Flores. No address.
Okay. Would you like to make an opening, or would you like to wait?
I'll
until-
wait.
Okay, thank you.
Hearing Officer Ziegler, apologize for the delay. So the issue here is that the personal property located at 2584 Lopez Lane, owned by Carolyn Flores, is currently in violation of the 2023-04 nuisance abatement ordinance for substandard building conditions and criminal activity. This case arises from a complaint submitted to our office on February 21st, 2025 by the property owner, Maria Magallanes, concerning personal property, specifically a manufactured home abandoned on the premise. The county brings this case under the 2024-04 Property Nuisance Abatement Ordinance based on the following provisions. The applicable ordinance violations are Section 3, nuisance defined and prohibited, criminal activity. The property has been the subject of repeated law enforcement responses and is associated with nuisance behaviors, including but not limited to suspected trespassing and public safety concerns following an eviction. Section 4, substandard building conditions which constitute a nuisance. A1, 5, 6, 9, and 11, the abandoned manufactured home exhibits lack of functional bathroom and plumbing facilities, lack of hot and cold running water, lack of heating facilities, general dilapidation and inadequate maintenance, structural hazards, including deteriorated floor, buckling ceilings, and hazardous interior walls and ceilings. The manufactured home is dilapidated and has negatively impacted the enjoyment and use of adjacent properties. The unit is uninhabited and unsecured, inviting trespassers and unlawful activity. The structure has been vacant for over 6 months. The case history is that on December 3rd, 2024, the First Judicial Court issued an amended writ of restitution, ordering the removal of Carolyn Flores from the present premise, restoring possession of the property to the owner. Under state law, Mrs. Flores was obligated to remove all personal property, including the manufactured home. On December 12th, 2024, Santa Fe County Code Enforcement officers accompanied sheriff deputies during the eviction. Officers documented hazardous interior and exterior conditions of the manufactured home at 2584 Lopez Lane. On February 21st, 2025, the property owner notified code enforcement that the manufactured home, still present on the lot, belonged to Carolyn Flores and was abandoned. A formal complaint was filed. An inspection was conducted on February 25th, 2025, confirming numerous violations. A notice of written order was posted on site that same day. A copy was also delivered to Ms. Flores' last known address, 952 Camino Vista Aurora. During this visit, Mrs. Flores appeared and spoke directly to Code Enforcement Officer Robert Hollingsworth and Team Leader Armando Rodriguez. Later that day, a certified notice of written order was mailed to Ms. Flores but was returned as undeliverable. That afternoon, Mrs. Flores contacted the Code Enforcement Team Leader and myself inquiring about her options. She was informed that in order to move the manufactured home, she would need to satisfy a lien placed by Santa Fe County Treasurer's Office and address any back taxes assessed by the Assessor's Office to obtain a movement permit from the Motor Vehicle Division. Ms. Flores indicated that she had a location to relocate the unit but was also considering selling it. Despite multiple follow-up attempts by our office, there has been no further contact from Ms. Flores. The conclusion is that the manufactured home remains in a deteriorated and substandard condition. Its continued presence constitutes a clear violation of multiple provisions under the county's Property Nuisance Abatement Ordinance. Today, Santa Fe County Code Enforcement is requesting that the nuisance hearing officer uphold the county's findings and move forward with the appropriate enforcement actions to bring this property into compliance by recommending a resolution by the public nuisance hearing officer to be presented to the Board of County Commissioners to enact the clean and lien provisions as outlined in the 2023-04 Nuisance Abatement Ordinance, Section 10C5. Santa Fe County Code Enforcement recommends that the clean and lien provisions as outlined in the 2023-04 Nuisance Abatement Ordinance, Section 10C5, be enforced and the structure be removed from the property. At this time, I will present the documentation and photographic evidence collected throughout the investigation, as well as any supporting materials relevant to the case. Exhibit A is going to be the First Judicial Court amended writ of restitution that was issued on December 4th, 2024. Here it plainly states, you are ordered to remove the respondent Carolyn Flores and any other persons residing on the premise from the premise at 2584 Lopez Lane and restore possession of the premises to the petitioner on or after December 12th. Exhibit B is going to be the complaint form that was completed by myself. I spoke to Maria Magallanes over the phone, and I noted as such. The disposition of the complaint indicates that the manufactured home, after research, belongs to Carolyn Flores, and we'll discuss how we were able to ascertain that in a further exhibit. Exhibit C is a notice of written order. This was addressed to the personal property owner, Carolyn Flores, with the applicable ordinances in which we were able to determine a violation existed. Exhibit D is going to be the evidence of the certified mail going out showing that it was unclaimed and it was returned to Santa Fe County. Exhibit E is going to be the motor vehicle information search results that was performed on April 18th, 2025. The vehicle has an active status, which means that it was never tied to the land. When manufactured homes want to be tied to a property, they would follow a process to the Santa Fe County Treasurer's the Assessor's Office, in which the manufactured home would have a deactivated title, and as such, the mobile home would be tied to the property. But in this case, since the registration is active, the manufactured home is considered personal property. And if you go down to the first page has the registration and title information along with the vehicle information. And on page 2, identifies the owners, first name Carolyn, last name Flores. This also identifies the lien that was placed on the personal property by Santa Fe County Treasurer's Office. Exhibit F is going to be calls for service log from January 2016 to June 2020. In this case, these calls were related specifically to the manufactured home located at 2584. On page 1, we've got call number 190390680 for a warrant service. On page 2, we've got call service number 2008-50562 as an unattended death. And then call service on page 2, 2010-60551 for a wanted person. Exhibit G is going to be calls for service 2584 from June of 2020 to current. Again, here, call your attention to page 1. We've got call number 250-30757, which is the first one on the page 3, a suspicious person or activity. Further down the list, we've got call number 242-25209, suspicious person or activity. Further down on December 15th, 2024, we've got 242-21294, vicious animal. On 10/23 of 24, We've got call number 241-85751, a suspicious person or activity. On page 2, we've got 6/20/2024, call number 241-03-343 for a dog bite. On 8/28/23, call number 231-57065, unlawful taking of a motor vehicle. On 9/26/2022, we have driving under the influence. On 9/8/2022, call number 221-38930, we have domestic disturbance. On 4/28/2022, call number 220-61433, we have burglary. The very following line, which was 4 days prior, call number 220-58945, burglary. On 3/23/22, call number 220-41484, disorderly conduct. On page 3, we have separate events on the same day, calls for service. Call number 211-92634, suspicious person or activity. 211-92635, suspicious person or activity. Call number 211-92636, suspicious person or activity. And again, I want to bring attention to the hearing officer that throughout all 3 pages, we have close patrol, which again, close patrol is a call for service and a follow-up of an area in which there is particular issues or particular problems. Exhibit H is going to be the public notice, evidence showing that Santa Fe County Code Enforcement followed the proper protocols and procedures for notifying. Page 2 has Santa Fe, New Mexican acknowledgement, along with page 3 with the listing of the public notice. Exhibit I is going to be site photos that were taken at the property. So page 1 is going to show Santa Fe County's written order that was placed on the personal property. I want to draw your attention to page 8, which is going to be a non-functioning toilet and bathtub within the manufactured home.
I'm sorry, what was that? What is it? You said
A
page 8?
non-functioning toilet and bathtub. Page 9 is going to show the non-functioning plumbing. So it appeared that most of the walls had been ripped open, either to obtain the materials that could be recycled for money, copper wiring, PVC piping, those types of things. Page 10, again, is going to be showing the lack of the holes in the floor, and the electrical was non-functional in the property, the utilities. Page 11, again, the floor has been compromised with a hole. Page 12 shows signs of the ceiling buckling. Attempts had been made to try to repair. However, the attempts were unsuccessful. Page 13 is additional evidence of the roof buckling. Page 14, additional evidence in a different location. Page 15, the extent of it, it's the same location, however, it's gone towards the center of the structure. Let's see, page 16, we've got the kitchen where the roof had been compromised, showing sign of the evidence of the ceiling, where the roof had been compromised and water leaked into the kitchen. Again, here we've got evidence of no cooking facilities, so that the kitchen was unusable. And page 17, another location where the roof had been compromised and showed signs of water damage. Exhibit J is going to be a copy of the 2023-04 nuisance abatement ordinance, in which allows us authority to enforce violations. So since that time frame that were in the photos of 225, code enforcement has not been back to the property. At this time, Maria Magallanes has made attempts to secure the property, and so there was no need with the evidence that was obtained for code enforcement to return, as she had informed us that there was no one else had gone into the property because she had secured it. So with that evidence, Hearing Officer Ziegler, Santa Fe County concludes its case in the matter of 25-8034, 2584 Lopez Lane.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Flores, would you mind coming up to the microphone? Sure. Let me,
We're together.
yeah, that's fine.
Did you
Are
need
there
to
going
swear
to be
me?
any questions for Mr. Martinez, or do you just plan to present?
I just have a quick statement to convey to you.
Okay, hang on. I want to have you sworn in.
Do I need to put my address, my home address? Because I don't.
Go ahead, she'll handle that.
Yes. Juan Garcia. Thank you. With this current situation, Maria did not acknowledge the proper errors. The land belonged to Carolyn's now deceased husband, Martin Flores. Maria has not acknowledged errors and did not formally probate the property and placed the property under her name. This ensures all potential errors were made of their rights. The criminal activity is not related to Carolyn's sons or to Carol. Carol was forced off the property and could not fix or repair the property. It is under litigation. Carolyn is 60 years old, low income, and now completely homeless. At this time, she has nowhere to go, and still, this property should be under probate. And prior to this, the mobile home was not in that condition at all. Other people have been in that home because it was not in that condition.
Not in that condition when you were last at it?
Yes,
Is that what you're
sir.
saying?
My sister and I, we have receipts to prove that we did attempt to clean that side of the property where the now deceased brother did live in the home. And I can provide those to you if you'd like. But at this time, because of the eviction, she has not been able to be on the property to continue the cleanup. And due to the probate issue, it's still ongoing. It's, the paperwork has been filed to reopen this issue because the heirs were not notified.
Okay. The mobile home is Carolyn Flores's, is that
That's
right?
correct.
Do you have anything else to say,
No,
ma'am?
sir, I do not.
Okay, and,
Do you have anything to add?
I don't have anything else to add.
okay. Y'all can take a seat. Are you gonna have any questions for them? Said yes? Okay. Why don't you just stand to the side if you would, thanks. Go ahead.
Hearing Officer Ziegler, just a moment. Hearing Officer Ziegler, thank you for the moment. Ms. Flores, is it your intention to remove the manufactured home from the property?
Why don't you speak into the microphone if you would?
At this point, not necessarily.
So is it, Ms. Flores, is it your intention, while the property is on 2500 Lopez Lane on that parcel, is it your intention to try to retrieve the items and secure the property?
Well, that's up for discussion with the.
She's still waiting for probate to reopen this case to try to figure out what's gonna happen with the property, to see if it's not gonna be divided, or if it has to be sold, then the heirs should be notified, and monetary should be divided equally amongst the living siblings of Martin Flores, the brother to Miss Magdalena.
Okay, hearing Officer Ziegler, no more questions at this time.
Okay, do you have anything else to say?
If she has the opportunity or potential to sell it, she will sell it. But she just doesn't have the funds to, due to her limited income and technically being homeless at this point, and she doesn't have the necessary funds to actually have it removed on her own.
Okay, thank you. You may be seated, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like the homeowner, or the landowner, the property owner, to come up. Do you have anything to say? As an interested party, I'll allow that. And do it at the microphone, and be clear, I consider you still under oath. You were sworn in earlier for the first property that we talked about. You understand that you're under oath?
On this paperwork, I have order to close probate.
Ma'am, do you understand you're still under oath?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have this paperwork where, I could show you that it says it's been under probate and it's been closed.
Okay, may I see that?
Do I take it,
Yeah,
or?
you can come on up. Okay, can we make a copy of this? Is this, why don't you make a copy and we'll make it a part of the record? Okay, now, go ahead.
I did everything legally, so I did do the probate, so that's what I'm showing now. And, I would like to say that I would like the mobile home removed, or if she can't, there was this lady that had contacted her, and she had said she would get back to her, and she had finally told her that she wasn't going to sell the mobile home anymore. And there is a lady that's interested in buying the mobile home, and that will remove that mobile home from her, from the property for her. And she said she'll even pay all the fines and everything that she owes. So, because we need the mobile home removed so we can continue cleaning up the property and stuff.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything else to add?
That's around it.
I'll allow the other parties to cross-examine or ask questions of her if they'd like, but Mr. Martinez, I'll start with you.
Hearing Officer Ziegler, I have no questions for Ms. Magallanes at this time.
Okay. Ma'am, come on up.
I'd just like to ask Maria if she is aware that she never notified the heirs to this, to the brothers' children.
So you're asking her,
She had notified them,
did she notify the heirs? Is that what you're asking?
yes.
Okay. Ma'am, do you mind coming up and answering that question?
Well, the judges did send stuff over, so I don't know what happened.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't believe the judge is responsible for notifying the heirs. The reason why the property hasn't been cleaned because of the. I don't know if Maria is aware, but my sister has resubmitted to reopen the case for this hearing for the heirs because they were not notified and there was nothing listed in the paper about it. So the heirs haven't responded. That clearly has not happened. So this matter should remain in probate until all heirs are actually notified, Martin Jr., John, and Michael Flores.
Thank you.
Well, right now, they're all in jail, so I don't know how. Carolyn does not have no right to the property. She only has right to the mobile home. And the property was either between me and my brother.
Okay.
And the way I see it is that the way they left the property with all the stuff, damages and stuff, the way I see it is that they have no right to the property.
All right. I think I've heard enough from both of you, unless you have something on a different issue. Have anything further? Okay, thank you. Mr. Martinez, I just want to clarify, as I understand it, for this matter, the county is requesting a clean and lean provision as it relates to the mobile home, that it's limited to the mobile home for this property.
Yeah, Hearing Officer Ziegler, that is correct. Because the manufactured home is considered a dwelling, we have authority and jurisdiction over enforcing the nuisance abatement ordinance on it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Martinez, sorry, do you have a closing to make?
Hearing Officer Ziegler, yes. So with the evidence that we provided today, Santa Fe County Code Enforcement strongly recommends that the hearing officer present a resolution in order to be able to enact the clean and lean as defined in Section 10C5 in order for Santa Fe County Board of County Commissioners to enact a resolution for the abatement of the property. With the evidence that we saw today, code enforcement believes that district court has proven that Maria Magallanes is the property owner, and with the writ of restitution, that the property owner of the personal property owner at 2584 was to remove all personal property, which included the manufactured home. Beyond that, Santa Fe County Code Enforcement has no other issues related to any relationship between the property owner and the tenant, other than to abate the nuisance as listed and outlined in the 2023-04 nuisance abatement ordinance.
Okay, thanks. Do we have, and so just to be clear, I'm going to make a copy of this order to close probate that was provided. It's in First Judicial District Court, case number D 101 PB 2023-00084. So I'll take that into evidence along with the other documents. Either of the other parties can make a closing. Ms. Flores, looks like you have nothing further to add. Okay, go ahead.
Regardless, the sons do have rights to that property. Martine would have, her husband, their father, would have wanted them to have that property. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. And then the landowner, Ms. Mayanes, do you have anything to add? Okay. All right, with that, I think this hearing come to a close. I appreciate everybody's time today, and we will go ahead and go off the record.